Good evening. Just great movies. Tuesday night, not 10 p.m., 9 p.m. We're just waiting on Chief Justice Melvin Deeply and Judge Vex, wherever she may be. But with me right now is the one and only Judge Z. Thank you for joining me tonight, sir.
I didn't break the law. I am the law.
You are the law. Hey, we're in luck. He's finally managed to do it. It's Chief Justice Deeply. Hello, sir.
He's got an eye patch, just like Justice Griffin.
Yeah. Yeah, but he didn't in the movie. Can you hear us, Melv? Better late than never. Greetings.
Sorry I'm late. I got caught up watching videos of Black Panthers.
Really?
Yes.
What?
Oh.
What type of Black Panthers?
Like the big cat. Apparently Black Panthers exist in Ontario.
Really?
There's a lot of credible sightings, so I've been watching videos of Black Panthers for the last 30 minutes.
Oh. Well, I'm glad you gave us a thought. Well, at least we popped in there somewhere.
Right. Sorry I'm late, though. Sorry. How is everyone?
I'm good. I don't know about yourself.
Can't complain. Can't complain at all. Well, actually, no, I can complain, but we'll save it for the movie.
Good. Just waiting on Melvin to sort his audio. Hey, did you notice something before we get cracking with this film, Z?
Mm-hmm.
Did you notice that the Chief Justices were just down as regular judges?
Well, yeah, they were, weren't they? Because pretty much everybody on the council was a chief judge at some point in 2000 AD, weren't they? Even got Griffin, Hershey, Silver,
and Magruder.
Yeah. And I think the only one that's missing was Goodman.
Yeah. I noticed that, which is quite bizarre.
The Chief Justice that got killed by the demented Judge Caligula. No, that's a real thing, Vex, I promise.
Yeah.
Oh.
It is true.
Oh, okay.
I'm taking it that 2000 AD wasn't a thing in Canada.
No.
No, I don't read comics like that. Like, I've done that here and there. I just never got around to Dredd comics, but after rewatching the 2012 one about a month ago, I'd be down to read some Dredd comics. This movie was god awful, though. I wouldn't want to read any comic after this.
Well, don't hold back.
This is my first time watching Judge Dredd today.
Really?
Yeah.
You've never seen it before until now?
Never seen it until now. Everyone told me it's really cheesy. It's really camp.
But that's a part of its appeal, really.
I mean, sure, if you're fucking drunk, maybe. Oh, sorry, are we trying to be calm with swearing? Okay.
Yes.
My apologies then.
Chief Justice Deeply will dispense some appropriate justice if he's got his audio sorted. Melvin, can you hear us now?
It all went Pete Tong.
Oh, dear.
In the end, when I first came into the stream, because I was trying so hard to get logged in, I was switching computers, and I had the headphones plugged in a different computer.
Oh, well, that would explain it.
Indeed.
Did anybody, like me, see this in the cinema when it was first released?
I did. I took the day off to go and watch it.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. I've been reading 2000 AD since Prog 1. So
really?
I was absolutely chomping at the bit to go and watch this film. And of course, you're in a period where Stallone and Arnie are big news, and anything that they appear in is liquid gold.
Pretty much.
Well, apart from Over the Top, that's a bit shit. So no, I went to the cinema. I took the day off, went to go and watch this. Absolutely fantastic. Blew my mind. It was everything I wanted and more. And I came out of it going 8 out of 10. That was really solid, fantastic movie. One of the best things I've watched in a long time. Of course, in retrospect, and having watched it numerous times afterwards, it's struggling for a 4.
I agree. It breaks its own canon on so many levels.
Yeah. The more you watch it, the more you pick out and think that's not supposed to be there.
So, a few stats about the film. Speaking of canons, it was directed by Danny Cannon. It was released on 30th of June in 1995 in the States. 96 minutes runtime. It had a budget of 90 million, only made 100.5 million worldwide, so technically a flop. Starring Sylvester Stallone as Judge Dredd, of course, Armand Asante as Judge Rico, Diane Lane as Judge Hershey, wow. Rob Schneider as Fergie, the only letdown of the film. Then in Thing, Joan Chen was Ilsa, Jürgen Prochnow as Judge Griffin. He'll be remembered most for his role in Das Boot, and Max von Sydow as Judge Fargo. Some bonus info. Does anybody know offhand who the voice of Central was?
Nope.
No.
Do you want a shocker?
Go on then.
Yes.
Adrienne Barbeau.
Who?
Adrienne Barbeau.
John Carpenter's ex-wife. She was in the...
Sorry, that was my reaction there.
She had quite large chestnuts in Cannonball Run.
It's a shame we didn't get to see those in the film.
She was also the voice for the chess computer in The Thing.
Correct. She was.
Oh, yes. Yep.
Well, do you know, there's some interesting things about this film. I bet you can't guess who was spoiling things behind the scenes. Any guesses before we go any further?
Oh, who could it be?
Go
on, Vex. Judge Vex.
Was it Sylvester Stallone?
It was. Director Danny Cannon was so disheartened over this constant creative disputes with Stallone that he swore he'd never again work with another self-absorbed actor, which was his own opinion of Stallone. He also claimed that the final version was completely different from the script due to changes Stallone demanded. In fact, Stallone later said that he thought the film was supposed to be a comedy action film and demanded the rewrites to make it even more comedic. The director and screenwriter, however, intended a darker, more satirical approach, which led to many difficulties behind the scenes. And one of the most difficult things in the whole movie for me was the moment where Dredd takes off his helmet. Caused a lot of controversy at the time because in the real world, Judge Dredd would never remove his helmet in comics. He only took it off once, but apparently his face is quite disfigured, and it was covered with a censored bar in the comics. Rumour has it there is a drawing somewhere, and Z might know about this, an actual picture of Dredd, an original piece of artwork.
Yes, I have that piece of artwork by Simon Fraser.
You're
from
joking.
The story Blood Cadets, which has a full frontal of Dredd and Rico's face in the Hall of Justice.
You will have to send me that, and I'll stick it on screen.
Amazing.
Stop it.
It's not really his face, though. It's not Dredd's face unless Carlos Esquerra did it.
Oh, purist. What about Ron Smith? I'm a fan of Smith's artwork.
Possible.
Well, Carlos Esquerra is co-creator. He designed.
Well, yeah, true.
Stuff.
Him and Wagner.
And he did that in the story The Dead Man, where Judge Dredd had lost his memory and had his entire body and face scarred beyond recognition, had no idea who he was. And he was cast adrift in the cursed earth. No idea how he got there. He just woke up there, completely scarred body. And it was our hero getting all the way back to Mega City 1.
Well, it's the cursed earth after all, and maybe it's something to do with that.
He survived it once, he can survive it a second time.
He can indeed.
That was spoilers, because in that story, you didn't know it was Judge Dredd until the end.
Until the end, yeah. I remember that now, yeah.
He found his charred badge. And it was one of the biggest twists since the Apocalypse War when he shot himself to evade capture. Right.
Right, here we go then. If anybody doesn't know, Judge Dredd is a dystopian future thriller action comedy, as Sylvester Stallone would have it. It stars, for God's sake, I'll be glad when they've grown up and left home. Joseph Dredd, the most famous judge, i.e. is basically a police officer with instant field judiciary powers, is convicted of a crime he didn't commit, and he must face his evil counterpart, and we'll find out who that is soon. But that, from the get-go, where did Marvel get the idea for their intros from? I wonder, Z.
I absolutely wonder. And you have a look at the intro sequence and you will find no pictures of Dredd without his helmet.
True, but you could tell where Marvel got the inspiration for their intros.
Definitely.
Now, normally I include the scroll, but it doesn't fit on a single page. But so basically what happens is in the future, government breaks down, climate breaks down, and people are forced into what become mega cities. and what's left of the rest of the countries becomes the cursed earth. And we'll discover more about that a little bit later on. Well, here's a view across the cursed earth from the outskirts of Mega City 1. There's a judge on patrol, and he watches a prison transport coming from Aspen Penal Colony. It's true.
It wasn't a thing in the comic, was it?
No.
Oh, so that's not
What's
a comic
tickling you,
accurate
Judge
name at
Vex?
all.
What's tickling you?
That's not a comic like location. They just
No,
made
they
of
made
all
that
the
up.
names.
Normally, they put their prisoners in ISO blocks, which are like skyscraper prisons.
Right. That like I haven't read any of the
ISO
Dredd
cubes.
comics. Yeah, but I've read I know a little bit of the background lore after kind of just reading some info on Dredd 2012. So I thought that the Aspen Penal Prison was comic accurate because I was laughing every time they mentioned it in the film.
No, they had ISO cubes in the comic.
Mm-hmm.
How many years in an ISO cube, Judge Z?
20 years.
In an ISO cube. Do you know, one of these children isn't going to see 20.
I have
up those stairs.
a very good philosophy on families, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's never too late to kill them all and start again.
Well, they're a good advert for birth control, I tell you that much. Anyway, moving on. Here we see Fergie arriving from Aspen Prison Colony, and this is just fantastic. The judge he just rips him, doesn't he, Z?
He most certainly does. And Fergie, unusual choice. There is a Fergie in 2000 AD, but he was like a giant Mexican guy with a baseball bat. Bit like Negan on steroids.
Yeah. Fergie was the king of the Undercity because Mega City 1 is built over the old cities on that side of the country.
Yeah, built over New York, isn't it?
It most certainly is, yes.
Well,
on the remains of the old.
New York and others.
Yeah, and they expanded on that in 2012's Dredd, which I liked. Although the Mega City wasn't accurate in my opinion, but we'll talk about that a little bit later on because next week we'll be doing Dredd from 2012. So we could talk about that a little bit later on down the line. In fact, my DMs are rammed with people wanting to get in on that, and sorry, it is booked now. The panel is booked for next week already. Crikey, it's never been so popular. So anyway, Fergie comes out and he looks across this. And it's funny because first thing you know of worthiness is the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah. Which is a strange place to have it as well. Also, again, watching this for the first time, I don't know if anyone else was reminded of this, but this is basically the exact same city design as in The Fifth Element. The Fifth Element did it better.
Very similar.
Yes. Very much so. And they absolutely nailed the aesthetic of Mega City 1 right here. Not so much in Dredd 2012, but here it is spot on. That is exactly how Mega City 1 looks.
And have you noticed the nod to Blade Runner as well there?
Oh, yeah.
The blimp.
Well, not only that, they have a full screen giant advertisement board later on.
And just out of frame to the right, there's a neon sign selling provocative services, shall we say, and it's in the shape of a willy. I did have to vet that a little bit.
In the comics, there was a statue of a judge. It was called something like the Statue of Justice or something.
Yes,
and
that's correct.
It towered over the Statue of Liberty.
It did. You're right. Just a quick hello to a few people in the chat. Franco Walker's in there. Gavin Blackburn. Lord Toxic's there. Who else have we got? Sword in the Storm. Destron Solar. Oh, hello, Scotty. He's in there too. Hello, matey. Hope you're well. Who else? Ashen Prism. Yeah. And anybody else who might be lurking, thank you for tuning in tonight. And whichever platform you're watching us on, I hope you enjoy the show. Let's crack on with some slides. I love how Fergie says, oh, it's good to be back kind of thing. And then he gets in one of these sky cabs, and I thought they recreated these really well. And if you look down there at the city, like the streetscape, they've got all that quite accurate to the comics as well, if you notice.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, very much so.
The aesthetic is 100% spot on.
It's dirty and horrible.
Yeah, it's grungy, it's grimy, it's very dystopian. And we get a good look at Lady Liberty with a big chunk missing out of her bonds.
The people behind the sets and everything on this knew their job. They knew what they were doing. But
They knew the source material very well. They all read 2000 AD.
the people behind everything else didn't have a clue.
And I like this. Fergie's flying past here and he thinks he's going to be landing here. This lady even waves at him. But no, it's a bit of a shocker for Fergie because this is what he's about to land into. There's the starting of a block war. Now, if you don't know what a block war is, Z, fill us in.
Right. Every single block in the city is named after a celebrity of old, usually in the comics. And, well, gang rivalries. You've got your block. It belongs to you and your people. And the other side, well, we're going to have to put a stop to them because we don't like them at all. Block war. Yeah.
You got to
So
love a good
basically,
block war.
an entire skyscraper full of people decides to fight another skyscraper full of people.
Yeah, which is weird because in 2012, the block war is internal. And it's against Dredd and Anderson.
Well, it's more like the raid, really.
Some of these blocks here hold like 50,000 people. It's like a city in the shape of a block kind of thing.
They've got everything in there: schools, swimming pools, malls, absolutely everything self-contained within the block. Some people never leave their block. They'll born there and they'll die there.
Someone in the storm makes a good comment here in the chat. He says, the big problem with Dredd as a character is that he's a total dick. No, he's just following the letter of the law. Ash and Prism says, I liked it. I didn't know there was a comic either. Franco says he's not a big comic guy. And Sword in the Storm's right here. I love the practical effects in this. And there are some really, really good effects in here. And we'll talk a bit more about those a little bit later on. Some fine actors in this movie as well. There is, and we'll talk more about those as we go along.
And Sylvester Stallone isn't one of them.
Unfortunately not, because sadly, this all turned into the Sylvester Stallone show, didn't it? Let's face it.
Yeah. This is, I think, right, as a Sylvester Stallone fan, I think this is the lowest point in his career. This is the worst thing he ever did.
Yeah.
Not Cliffhanger.
No, Cliffhanger's 100 times better than this. Cliffhanger had John Lithgow in it.
Very true.
I'm shocked. I thought Cliffhanger was about somebody who wanted to get hold of Cliff Richard and do rum things to him. But anyway, Fergie finds his new appointed apartment and he walks in the door and gets a gun at his head. And guess what, kids? It's James Remar holding what looks like a pulse rifle, which might be a bit of a nod back to his dismal outings in Aliens.
His brief moment as Hicks.
Which I thought was quite funny. Doesn't that look like an M41A pulse rifle?
It most certainly does.
I think somebody in the prop department thought, right, Remar's getting it.
But they've blocked off the grenade launcher.
Yeah. It still looks cool, though.
Oh, yeah, very much.
It's funny because Remar just played a slew of arseholes.
I think he would have made a better Hicks than Michael Biehn.
Really?
I think he would have. I think he's a better actor than Michael Biehn, without a doubt.
Yeah, well, horses for courses, I suppose.
It would have been a bit edgier, wouldn't it? I mean, Michael Biehn was a very safe Hicks.
Yeah. I don't know. There's just something about Michael Biehn. I found him a very boring actor. But that's just my take.
I don't want to kick him because I'm a fan of many of his films, but he's like a kind of average TV actor who got very lucky.
Yeah, he's kind of turned that around, though, and he's saying that's his secret sauce. He didn't want to be big in Hollywood because of how depraved things are behind closed doors.
I don't think he was complaining when he was in his 20s.
No. So here we see Block War in full progress. A couple of judges turn up, and it's Judge Hershey and a rook. I can't remember the Basil Targetti. He was here today, gone tomorrow, wasn't he? I can't remember the name of his character in this, Jazzy. Do you remember it?
Rookie.
Yeah, I know, but what was it? What was his surname?
I've no idea.
Oh no, I'm the same. So anyway, Hershey calls for backup. This pops up on a lawmaster. Who is it? It's Judge Dredd on his lawmaster.
This isn't Getty here, is it?
No.
Getty doesn't show up to near the end.
No, he's in it. He's
Yeah, but the rookie here in this scene, this isn't Getty, is it?
yeah. You'll see him. You'll see him shortly, anyway.
Because this guy gets killed, but he's still there at the end in the final couple of scenes.
No, you'll see what's happening. You'll see what's happening. So anyway, kickstand goes down. Now that's a cracking set of boots. Are your cosplay boots like that, Z?
What, like those?
Mm.
No, my costumes is 2012. So
Right, you've gone for the urban look.
I've gone for the urban look, and they are exactly the same as the ones used on screen.
Wow.
Nice.
You have no idea how long it took me to get those boots in a size 12.
Well, you know what they say, big feet.
When
Big
I worked
sock.
in a freezer, my boots looked like these, the freezer boots.
They are. Go on, Vex. You were saying.
Sorry. Just a quick question. So is this the outfit that he's wearing in here? Because I noticed he's got like that spandex suit basically underneath it. Is that more accurate to how he looks in the comic, or it's a stylistic choice?
It's loose. How can I put it? It's more of a hyperbolous, cinema-esque take on what he would look like. What do you think, lads?
I think the shoulder pads are correct and everything else is wrong.
Yeah, especially the helmet.
Yeah, the helmet looks a little cheap. It's like a toy helmet almost.
And here we go with Stallone and his classic stroke face. I am the law.
I like that when he says this line. He says, "I am the law." There's a pause in the middle.
Yeah. He might have wrote Rocky, but I don't think. I don't know. As an actor, I don't really rate him. To be fair.
Do you know who designed that costume?
Go on.
Gianni Versace.
That is correct.
So it looks fucking amazing. I'll hear no more.
Less of the swears. See, it's a family channel for family people.
Very chic. Let's put it like that.
Nice. You can see the what's it called? That rubber stuff. Oh
Foam.
my!
Right.
Yeah, the foam stuff. What's it called? What they make diving suits out of? Neoprene.
Oh.
It's a shame about that neoprene hanging out at the bottom, though. It just looks a bit out of place.
Yeah, it's slightly recessed on the 2012 helmet, so it looks a lot better. But I do like the drop-down mic.
Yeah, I thought that was quite cool, to be fair. It gives it that edge, doesn't it? That adds that futuristic twist to it, which it needs, I think.
Exactly, and I'm also a big fan of Captain Scarlet.
Yes. Oh, yeah, the caps with the drop-down mics.
Yeah.
I wonder if there was a bit of inspiration borrowed from there, too.
Not half as much inspiration as Robocop stole.
Yeah. And I like this. Oh, Druck, it's Judge Dredd!
Can I just say, because I found it really odd that virtually everyone that he encounters knows who he is, even though this is supposed to be a city of 65 million people.
Well, he's the most infamous law giver in Mega City 1. Everybody knows Judge Dredd.
Yeah, he's like Wyatt Earp in Tombstone. Everybody's scared of him. Everybody knows him by reputation.
I don't know. I just thought it was kind of strange because even at the most minuscule glance, they knew immediately who it was. So it was like, I understand knowing a legend because of what he does, but how often is it that all of these people would have actually seen what he looks like? I just found that a little bit convenient.
Well, all the judges dress the same.
That's
but
what
they
I
have
mean.
a badge. They have a very big badge with their name on it.
So how would they know this one is always Dredd, even if they hadn't seen him before?
Well, it wouldn't be much of a plot of a movie if they all didn't know who he was.
I'm just saying they could have done a better job with that, or at least this is what I liked about the 2012 version is it's all a very contained story. So yes, Dredd still has a certain level of infamy as we kind of see just within the people that he works with, right? But it's just the fact that every single citizen, no matter whether they're a criminal or not, petty or murderer, seems to know exactly what he looks like. It was very strange.
Well, all the judges dress the same, and they have
no, they don't. If you go back and look at Hershey and the Rookie, they're both wearing double shoulder pads. Dredd has an eagle.
Yeah, the street judges and the comic all dress the same.
Yes, the street judges in the comic all exactly the same.
Yeah.
In fact, they are so much exactly the same, they can actually spot a forgery costume.
Yep, that's Dredd. They do mention that later on.
Apart from Judge Anderson, who never wore a helmet, obviously, it inhibited her psychic powers. Wasn't that the line?
Yep.
It was, yes. The protection that the helmet gave dampened her psychic
Abilities.
abilities.
So, Rob Schneider being Rob Schneider, the only thing he doesn't do in this film is say, "Kick him in the frigging balls."
Really, I was waiting for the "You can do it, Dredd.
You can do it, Dredd. Yeah, but he's like, "Oh, let's calm down. Let's just let's go down there and just surrender." But James Remar's character is a bit of a dick. In fact, James Remar is totally uncredited in this movie.
Really?
But look at that lawgiver. Does that look good or what?
Eh.
The Mark II lawgiver.
And if you notice, that's been correctly mentioned. Look at Hershey and the rookie. No eagle.
Yep, very different shoulder pads. Even it's
Yeah.
a different color a little bit too.
Yeah, theirs is more of a brush gold, and his is
Yeah.
a shiny gold.
Well, he's got the hero suit, hasn't he?
Mm. Also, but he's pointing out that the bullets can't possibly hurt them because the rounds aren't high enough caliber.
Yeah. And by the time they get down to that level, they're out of range.
There's something I didn't know until last week, is that this here Mark II lawgiver was designed especially for this film. It didn't exist before.
Oh.
Nice.
So the one in the comic, the Mark I, was the original. But they used they used this gun again, the same one for the Carl Urban movie, the Mark II.
Yeah. But I like the styling that they altered onto that for the 2012 Dredd. And the voice is quite similar too. It's not the same voice, but it's quite similar. Where I like the bit where Urban says, "Okay, take it easy, hot shot," and the gun goes, "Hot shot."
Like this one's just about to go grenade.
Yeah, I love it. So anyway, Dredd goes in, shoots through the ceiling, straight in, boof, starts taking people out, as Judge Dredd would. And these guys just don't stand a chance. And then Remar has a pot shot or two, ends up shooting a rookie.
Oh, the rookie's Bristow.
Is it?
Yes.
Ah.
I think Hershey mentions his name once.
But looking at him there, I thought that was Basil Targetti's character. Kind of looked like him there, to be fair.
There's another mistake here. Well, of the many.
Go on.
The rookies had white helmets.
They did.
Ah, and he's not. He's wearing a full judge's helmet.
Mm-hmm. The dirty cheats. How could they?
How do you, just out of curiosity, how long does it take for you to get out of rookie status as a judge?
They start training when they're 5 and they become full judges. It depends on how good they do, but maybe normal kind of 18 to 20 they become a...
Hold on. Are you telling me every single person that becomes a judge starts training when they're a child?
Yeah.
Yes.
So doesn't this entire movie break that canon?
No.
Okay, hold on.
It doesn't really go back into that much of the canon. It just gives you enough credibility to believe in, the world it's in.
So hold on. So just let me questions.
Let me fill you in. Let me give you a bit of the background. Hopefully this will cover it. Okay, there was a Third World War, civil war in America, where the police and the army versus the judges. And it was a nuclear war that destroyed most of America, and the judges took control. But unfortunately, their reserves were so depleted, they had to start cloning judges to make up the numbers and accelerated their aging.
Okay, so
Judge Dredd is a clone, and he was born at 5 years old in the comics. He was already 5.
Him and Rico.
And they started training straight away.
Okay, so then my follow-up question is, I guess this movie then completely ignores most of that lore. Like, we find out that Judge Dredd himself is a clone, and he has an evil brother clone. But like these other judges are not necessarily clones, or were trained since childhood.
A lot of in the comics, a lot of the judges are clones, like a third or something.
No, but I mean, in this movie, have they mostly abandoned that?
No, they'd only tried it with 2.
Okay, so these are all just like normal people that have trained to be judges. Okay,
yeah, in this particular storyline.
Gotcha. Okay.
So the only two clones, it turns out, is Judge Dredd and Judge Rico.
Mm-hmm.
And they both became, like Arnold Schwarzenegger's twins, they became polar opposites of each other. Judge Dredd being the good one and Rico being the maniac. So anyway, Rookie drops his lawgiver, sorry. And there's a thing about lawgivers. What happens if a normal person picks up a lawgiver? Anybody?
It explodes. Well,
In this case, it gives the guy an electric shock because every lawgiver is not only coded to the individual, but it contains a record via its linking to Central, a copy of every judge's DNA and fingerprint.
Mm-hmm. And one judge can pass their lawgiver to another, but they have to vocally assign it to that judge. Otherwise, it will explode.
There we go. Hello to a few more people in the chat. Atom Gray's in there. Hello. Megan22, who's joined us. Drew Gordon as well. I'll give some mentions out a little bit later on and catch up with the chat as well. So I just love this. Dredd goes back in, shoots some more people, and these guys are toast. In fact, anybody who goes up against Dredd in this one is just basically toast.
Yeah,
but it wouldn't be
the same in every story. Dredd is basically too good for everybody.
Yeah. But look at this, the aesthetic styling. You can see like Fifth Element borrowed from this film. But Fifth Element's a lot cleaner.
Who did the costumes for Fifth Element? It was John
Paul Gaultier, yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, did you not know?
No.
Yeah.
Also,
what?
Very chic.
Because
when did all of these designers start doing movie costumes in
ages ago?
I wasn't
aware. It was all the rage in the 90s.
Huh.
Yeah, you should have been born, Vex. It was good.
If you look into quite a few of Luc Besson's movies, he always tries to make it a French production all the way throughout. And he was, he still is big friends with Jean-Paul Gaultier. As far as I know.
I just figured that like the big brands usually just did the costumes for movies that would employ their fashion, like something like Pretty Woman or Devil Wears Prada is another example,
well,
right?
Like as it's been mentioned, it was a big thing back in the 90s to have somebody, of that stature designing the costumes for your production.
This makes so much sense as to how costumes have just completely dropped off now in the last 15 years.
Well, let's think about it. Over the last 30 years, the movie industry has become less of a big thing. Now you've got people making all these big films on very small crews, on less equipment. Basically, if you look at an average YouTuber, we have the power in a computer now to do basically everything a TV studio could do.
Yep.
30 years ago, we've got that power now. So filmmakers have got that freedom. So productions aren't quite as big.
No, and you've got 13-year-olds designing stuff in 3D for their printers. What the hell?
Yeah. The kids doing CGI graphics on YouTube, what make ILM look like they do their stuff on a ZX81.
I think Stallone insisted on getting Versace on this so he could get some kickbacks.
Probably.
Because the Dredd uniform was already designed. It was already perfect. It didn't need changing. They didn't need a designer. All that was copy, 20 years of storyboards.
Maybe he wanted a shinier helmet.
Ooh, matron.
So Remar's the last man standing. And he's a bit cocky with Dredd. He's like, oh, yeah, I suppose you're going to send me to jail. And he starts pulling a gun out from his bag. And Dredd's like, guilty, death, woo, done. I would have shown it a bit more graphically, but it's a family show for family people. That's why we don't do much sweary words on this channel anymore.
Who is this guy? Look, I recognize him. Is this Ferris Bueller's dad?
Do you know what I thought it was? I thought it was Riker's dad.
Oh, from the season 2 Next Gen episode.
Yeah.
It's not Ferris Bueller, but he's been like a goofy character in quite a few movies.
There's a lot of notable character actors in this film.
He just looks really familiar. I've probably seen him in things, but it reminds me of Ferris Bueller's dad.
Yeah, I'm sure it's the guy who played Riker's dad. I would IMDb it, But Scotty's been quite on the ball in the chat tonight. So I wonder if he can tell us exactly who this guy is.
In answer to Drew Gordon, Bridget Nielsen was like 3 or 4 inches taller than Stallone.
How tall
3 or
is
4
Stallone?
foot taller than Stallone. What are you talking about?
How tall is Stallone?
Titus and Nunchuff says it is Riker's dad.
Well, Stallone reckons he's 5'10", but I don't reckon he is.
Is he balls? 5'5"?
Bridget Nielsen was 6 feet, wasn't she?
And then some.
Vartis Hammond.
Is that his name?
Yes.
Can you just, obviously you've got him up on IMDb. Can you just confirm what Titus and Nunchuff says? Is it Riker's dad?
I don't know.
Look at that guy in the
No.
orange cagoule behind him.
No, they look very much alike, but Carl Riker was played by Mitchell Ryan.
Oh, yeah. Tom says in the chat it's Mitchell Ryan, so well done, Tom. Titus and Nunchuff, you're same as me, you were wrong. But look at that guy in the orange cagoule. He's checking out Riker's dad's mate's lookalikes arse.
Very futuristic, isn't it? I mean, I reckon he just wandered onto the wrong set.
Well, he's a big reporter in Mega City 1, and he's one of Judge Dredd's biggest critics. So anyway, Judge Dredd's, look at that, that's a good look at the suit. And you can tell the shoulder pads are different on Hershey and everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
And Hershey's took her helmet off. The gorgeous Diane Lane.
Yeah.
She looked great in this movie.
She is absolutely stunning.
So, question for Z. Z, what is Hershey's first name?
Judge.
Barbara.
It is indeed Barbara Hershey. That's her name.
Judge.
Judge Barbara Hershey.
Chief Judge Barbara Hershey.
Eventually, yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder what Judge Magruder's first name is.
Hilda.
Yvonne Magruder.
Yeah, Hilda Margaret Magruder. And in this, they call her Evelyn. But
Yeah.
it was Hilda.
Not Yvonne Magruder. If you know, you know, don't you, Z?
Yeah,
Yes.
I don't.
Yeah. Hilda Margaret Magruder in the comics. But not in this.
No. I noticed they made some subtle changes too. Because there was a judge missing from the Chief Justices.
There was. Chief Judge Goodman, who was murdered by the mad Judge Cal.
There we go. If you know, you know. Dredd stopped a food recycling robot. And there's a reason for that. Because Kick Him in the Friggin' Balls is in there. Look. Hey! You can do it! Nice product placement for beer there. They
And
still drink
spaghetti.
Coors in the future. Yeah. I think it's udon noodles.
I thought just spaghetti noodles.
Yeah. Do you know, I don't know whose backside that is, whether it's Hershey's or Stallone's.
I thought this was family friendly.
Cake is cake.
Well, it is family friendly. That's why I said bottom and not arse. Oh, I've said it now. Oh, well. So this is the Hall of Justice. Is that right, Z? Did I get that right?
You did, but you missed out that Dredd sentenced Fergie to 5 years.
He
for
did.
hacking. Yes.
Yes, and he's going back to Aspen. Sorry, I forgot about that because I'm getting
There's
quite
a
carried
problem
away.
with that, though. There's a problem with that because in the comics, every judge carries a lie detector. And
Oh.
all they had to do was check and see if he was telling the truth. That's all they had to do. Would have took
True.
2 seconds.
Get his birdie out.
Hey, Jacob Ironside's in the chat. Nice to see you in there, buddy. Good news on you getting a new place, by the way.
He had 500
Congratulations.
subs as well yesterday.
Nice
Double
one.
congratulations.
Oh, well done, buddy.
Do you know, I was so happy to make a donation towards that. Now, I felt it was the right thing to do to give it a good push over on X. So thank you to everybody else who helped Jacob Ironside out. It's nice when we can all club together and help fellow creators out in times of need.
Are you talking about subs or for his new place? I'm confused.
6 of one, half dozen of the other in this case. So we get a good look at the Chief Justice's Hall, and we get a nice little representation of the cursed earth.
Mhm.
And Mega City 1, that's how far it sprawls out. Not quite as big as it was in the Urban movie.
No.
I'm not sure how
How
accurate this view
how
is.
far is Mega City 1 supposed to stretch in the comic book?
In the comic book, isn't it from like, is it North Carolina through to Massachusetts?
It kind of goes right down that whole side almost, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, because in the 2012 Dredd one, it was like New York to Boston, so I would say it's about the same size as this.
Really? I thought it'd be a
Yeah.
bit higher up if it was towards Boston that way.
Okay. You might have
Because
we
if
have
you
an
look,
American on the panel that can help us.
it doesn't quite go all the way across Long Island.
No, it doesn't. You're right. Okay, you're right.
Yeah. It's all right. So we've got Griffin, Fargo, oh, crikey, Silver, and Esposito, is it?
Magruder.
We can't see it, but I'm on about the guy in the middle. Is it Esposito?
I'm not entirely sure what his name is off the top of my head.
I think it is.
They got Silver wrong as well because Silver was a black dude.
He is.
Yeah.
Was. Before he died and became a zombie.
When there was a green dude or a blue dude or whatever the hell it was.
Yeah. So there's a bit of an internal power struggle here because Griffin has grand plans. Fargo's standing in his way. He's a bit of a megalomaniac, is Griffin. And I wonder if it's no coincidence that they picked a German to play Chief Judge Griffin.
I didn't think that was we just happened to cast a German. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Not a coincidence.
We should go and use the eugenics program to reinforce our armies. Yes.
Yeah.
Eugenus. Who? I'm sorry.
I just wondered
from Sing there a little bit. Sorry.
Why they treated Judge Griffin with such disrespect when Judge Cal was right there. Should have used him as the
Megan 22 says no coincidence.
buddy.
Yeah. So yeah, Fargo is quite chill, really, isn't he, for a Chief Justice? He's got that sagely wisdom. And he's like, well, hang on a minute, just calm down a little bit. No need to get a bit hasty. But Griffin's a bit trigger happy.
I think Max von Sydow would have made a decent Obi-Wan had it not been Alec Guinness.
Yeah, but the thing is, he wasn't like that at that time, wasn't he? He was very ginger back in his younger years.
He always looked like an old man. I mean, even when he was a young man, he was always kind of like white-haired and looked about 60.
Yeah. So Dredd's watching a vid, as they call it in 2000 AD, of this reporter criticising him again. Riker's dad's clone. And he's there, look at that. He's like, yeah, I'm going to shoot you in the face. Yeah. What was that, George? What? You've got to love a Stallone movie. He thinks he's the shit.
Yeah.
Doesn't he?
Well, he did later come out and say he fucking hates this film.
But he did the rewrites you guys said earlier, so how can he hate it?
And if there's anybody under the age of 21, just cover your ears a second. According to Form, when I used to appear on another channel, no problem on that. When I used to appear on another channel, somebody commented that Sylvester Stallone's a well-renowned waffle stomper, and I had to look that up on Urban Dictionary. It's not pleasant.
Did you go straight to images?
I didn't. No.
I don't know what that is, but I feel I shouldn't Google it.
It's like a shower shark, but more intense.
Oh, right. Well, why did you tell me? You should have just said don't Google it.
No, I had to look it up on Urban Dictionary, and I really, really wished I hadn't. Look, let me put it into simpler terms and keep it a bit tasteful. It's somebody who likes to do a number two in the shower.
What?
Come on.
Hold on, but then the waffle stomp part is that you're trying to get it down the drain.
Yes.
So you step on it.
Yes.
The waffle part.
Yes, it's true.
And he's notorious for that. Is he well known for it? I suppose.
He hasn't got time. He's such a busy man. His personal assistant once told somebody, Mr. Stallone has to do it in the shower because he's a very busy man. He hasn't got time to sit down and poo.
It takes more time to waffle stomp it down, though.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but, you know, that's why he takes 2 bottles into the shower, not 1.
Let's move on. Let's move on.
Yes, moving swiftly on.
Why
Chief,
doesn't he just get a toilet put in the shower?
well, so, why could you always have like a B-day and go halfway? So anyway, I really wish I'd not brought that up, but it was a point of interest.
Me too.
Things you learn on other people's channels. So Chief Fargo shouts in Dredd, and he's got a bit of a soft spot for Judge Dredd. George Dredd. I've changed his name.
George Dredd.
Georgie Dredd.
Did you just do that in an English voice there,
I
Vex? Because that
did,
sounded
yes.
quite good. Do it again.
Georgie Dredd.
Oh, I like that. You sound like you need to get your bowl of gruel filled up. It's lovely.
Oh, sure.
It's
Georgie Dredd.
Tuesday, isn't it?
It's Tuesday.
I love how people in the Northern American continent think we talk over here. Nice. So this is George Dredd without his helmet, and those blue contact lenses just look so wrong on that guy.
Yeah,
You could tell they're just not supposed to be there.
The thing that got me was the size of the pupils don't change no matter what the light is like.
Yeah.
Pupils are like twice as big as normal pupils, and
There's a scene later on in the movie where I did notice that you can actually see the overlap with his real iris color.
Really?
Yeah, because I was just like, wait a second, Sylvester Stallone doesn't have blue eyes, and then
No, he doesn't.
in the final act, you kind of get another close up of him, and you can see the lens has shifted a little bit.
Yeah, they made him and Armando Sante wear the same style of contact lenses. They don't suit him one bit. So anyway, Chief Griffin. Does anybody know why Chief Griffin's got a bit of a soft spot? Chief Fargo, sorry.
Fargo.
Yeah, Fargo. Why he's got a bit of a soft spot for
We do.
Judge Dredd?
we do know.
You do know?
Yeah, because
Ooh.
he's a Fargo clone.
Mm-hmm.
Him and Rico are clones of Fargo, and this is where it went way wrong, because in the comics, Dredd never met Fargo,
No.
because Dredd was born in something like 2066, was it? And Fargo allegedly died in 2051, although it turned out that he didn't die in 2051. He faked his death, and he really died in 2071. But Dredd never met him.
Yeah, well, that's
And-
why he's got a soft spot for him,
Yeah.
because he's his daddy.
But he and Rico both were aware that they were clones of Fargo.
Oh, yes, they were. I remember now.
And Rico wasn't called Judge Rico, he was called Judge Dredd, because they were brothers. It's Joe Dredd and Rico Dredd.
Yeah.
But they kind of shot all over that for this, didn't they?
They did.
Just a little
Royally.
bit.
It doesn't matter whether there's an actual backstory to it. When Sylvester Stallone's around, he's going to waffle stomp all over the canon. So here's Aspen Penal Colony, which tickles Judge Vex immensely.
That's where you get your ass penned.
What is it? What is tickling you about Aspen Penal Colony?
It's
Anything
not
with
family friendly, so I
penal.
don't know if I can say it.
Anything with
Oh.
penal in the name makes me giggle.
No, it's Aspen, then penal, then colony.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah. You're easily amused.
I am, yes.
So we're
Okay.
just about to see Warden Miller go into one of the most maximum security cells in the entire facility. And this is Warden Miller, played by Maurice Roves, a very renowned English character actor. And
He's Scottish. You apologise. He's Scottish.
he's not
Apologise.
Scottish. He was born in Sunderland.
He's got a Scottish accent when he talks.
He has. He grew up in Scotland, but he's actually from England.
Well,
But he
Sunderland.
identifies as Scottish. Now, if you don't know who Maurice Roves is, he was in Star Trek Next Generation, Season 6, Episode 20, in The Chase. and he was titled as Romulan Captain. You can't be more succinct than that.
He was Colonel Monroe in The Last of the Mohicans.
He was indeed. He's a great actor. He was in Crossroads as well at one time or another.
I think he's dead now, actually. I think he died a couple of
Is
years
he?
ago. I believe so.
Oh, that's a
I
shame.
could be wrong. I believe he's
He
dead.
always looked like a hard case, but I think it was one of those. He's got a soft centre, really.
So I got a question for Z.
Go for it.
Tell us the actual prison where they send judges, and it's not Aspen.
It's a prison on the moon of Titan.
Oh.
Where they surgically alter all of the prisoners so that they can mine the surface of the planet without the need of an atmosphere suit.
Oh, they go rogue trooper on him.
Well, they kind of like cut off their nose and put in breathing apparatus.
Oh my God.
Yeah, pretty much.
And
those are for life sentences, or
yeah, those are for judges that go bad.
So
any judge gets a life sentence when they send him to prison. You're gone.
They give him a face only Artie Gruber could love. If you know, you know. Anybody else know who Artie Gruber is?
Kill Giant.
No clue.
No clue? 1984's annual tells you everything you need to know.
Artie Gruber.
He's
Yeah.
an aero ball player.
He was. He was severely disfigured.
He was, and had a major beef with the head of Harlem's Heroes.
He did.
That's one of the
Is
few
he
stories
not-
I didn't read.
there's the cannibal we see later. Are they not based?
That's the Angel Gang. There'll be more about them later. They were very, very strong repeat characters in the Judge Dredd universe.
Okay.
If you read it was it in The Star?
Well, in the actual 2000 AD comic, they were in it, and initially in the Judge Child Quest.
So Warden Miller rather, has to deactivate the remote sentry guns, which is also another good nod towards aliens.
Mm-hmm.
And they sound like the robot from the movie version of Lost in Space. If you notice. Weapons deactivated, Warden Miller.
Danger, Will Robinson.
Yeah. So he gives Rico, obviously that was Rico in the cell, it gives him this little box, and it's his judge badge, which is quite kind of cool. It reads, it scans his fingerprint and then opens up. He takes the badge out, and obviously somebody wants a hit out on Riker's dad.
Yeah,
Bummed.
This looks a bit like Ferris Bueller's dad.
Yeah. And the amazing thing about this little tiny box, it's also a transformer.
Yep.
Because it turns into like a cute little gun. And look at that, Armand DeSante with those blue contacts in. They look quite close to one another, don't they?
They do, yeah. They really
Not
do.
quite, but nearly.
It's like a smushed face a little bit more than Stallone almost, and the lips are different. But I can see the relation.
Yeah. But for clones, Fargo, Dredd, and Rico should really all look alike. I thought it would have been good if Stallone actually played both roles.
Yeah, that'd have been quite interesting. So Rico shoots Miller.
Could have showed his range, God.
Yeah. He'd have doubled his fee, though, wouldn't he?
And half his performance.
Yeah. So Rico shoots Miller through the neck so he can't speak. And he's trying to reactivate the guns. The guns don't actually recognize his voice pattern anymore. And Miller gets it. So some prison warden judges come in, and it doesn't end well for them either.
Can I just at this scene here with the guns, I laughed out loud at this because the machine says out loud that it's going to shoot any like still prisoners on site or stand still to avoid fire, right? So it can recalibrate, and the good judge instead starts running away.
Do you think they actually stole those guns as well from RoboCop as a bit of a swipe back? It's a bit Ed 209, isn't it?
A little bit, yeah. But I'm reminded of the remote sentry guns in Aliens in the extended edition, the director's cut.
an absolute top version of the film. I won't watch the original cinematic version anymore.
Well, that was the one we covered on Monday Night Mayhem. Oh, who remembers that show? That was good. I remember.
So long ago.
It is. Brought a tear to my eye, so it did. So these are the prison guard judges. They've got these amazing barrel guns, and there's use of those a little bit later on in a scene on the prison transport. But Rico manages to disable one of the guards, gets hold of that gun, shoots away, and then he's showing his backside off again. Nearly said arse. So he's basically giving a bit of a lecture to some rookies, and he says, "Oh, this is the next law master, and it can fly." So he gives it a bit of a demo, and it just goes pear-shaped, and it won't fly, just crashes, malfunction, and he's like, "Oh."
The way he stands in this film is just kind of pointing his crotch at people.
Yeah, I noticed that
noticed that.
too. Also, I didn't realize until this movie that Stallone has a lisp. So this entire sequence was completely broken by the lisp.
It was. This guy's had a bad day because he was checking out all the bodies and tagging them and whatnot to be returned back to Mega City 1. And then one of the bodies rises up, shoots him. And obviously, who could it be? It couldn't be Rico, could it? So anyway, Riker's dad's everywhere. And back in Mega City 1, Rico gets a good look of him. And there's a good nod to Aliens in just a second.
Oh.
Here we go. Giga's Bazaar.
It's spelled wrong.
Oh.
It's spelled wrong.
Yeah, it should be GEI.
Yeah, but
No,
it's still
it's just GI, isn't it? HR Gaga. It's not just GI. GIG.
Oh, actually, maybe you're right. Hold on, let's see.
Well, anyway. Potato.
Oh, you're right. You're right. There is no E there.
So somebody owes me $1 then. I reckon.
You never established that. Hold on.
Tell you what, we'll get you an honorary can of Top Deck. If you remember Top Deck, if you know, you know. And look who runs this store. We'll see in a second. But look at that. Get a nice view there of an ABC warrior. War. That was a great. Did you read the ABC Wars?
I did indeed. So yeah, that's modelled on Hammerstein, who's the leader of the ABC Warriors, who brought justice to Mars.
It's a great story.
And these are left over from the atomic war that destroyed most of America.
Maybe not justice it brought to Mars, but it certainly brought some explosions.
Yeah, definitely. So anyway, Rico gives him a code. Anybody know what the code word is?
Nope.
Belly button.
No.
Pineapple.
No.
Zendaya.
It's not uncle or banana.
Banana uncle.
Oh, come on, Z. You know this one.
Do I? I?
Yeah.
No, I don't. I can't remember.
Oh, well, I'm not telling you then. It all gets
bastard.
So inside this case is a full judge's outfit. And look who it is who runs this shop. It's Ian Jury. And he says, if you pick up that gun, it'll blow your hand off. It's a lawgiver. And he says, well, I must be a judge then. And he quickly dispatches Ian Jury, hit him with his own rhythm stick. And then he goes delving into this ABC warrior's head. And just like the band, sparks, they're everywhere. He re-enables this robot.
This was really stupid. A couple of sparks and he's reprogrammed this thing that's been lying there broken for decades. It's like, yep.
Yeah.
Oh, it had been there for decades?
Well, if he says, oh, is that one of those ABC warriors? You go, yeah, you can legally own it if it's disabled. So it had been deactivated and you could legally own it.
Well, they were saying it's something like, was it 60 years old or something?
A bit longer than that. If you go by the official canon timeline.
I think you said it was 60 years old.
In the movie, it was 60
years old. I noticed a lot of artistic license. Hello to Gap After Dark in the chat. And he basically tells the ABC warrior that he goes, was it like, function bodyguard? And he gives him a set of instructions. So anyway, Riker's dad, he gets a surprise knock at home. And it's a judge. And he's dead, along with his missus. And it's a guy wearing a Dredd costume. Or is it Dredd? I don't know. But is it live? Is it Memorex? It's all on film. So the next day, Hershey's having a bit of a trouble with a bit of a douchebag and his fancy pants flying car that keeps bumping into other cars. She wants to give him a citation. And he's arguing the toss with her. And then Dredd turns up. And then he goes all ashen face and like he needs a poo.
Yep.
And then Judge does what Dredd normally does. Takes things to the extremes of the law.
I really liked the setup for this scene because this guy, the civilian, is looking at Dredd when Dredd is saying this, and then the camera quickly cuts so you can see him screaming at the camera. Then it cuts to the explosion, cuts back to the guy, and he's looking at the explosion.
Yeah. Like I say, some great practical effects. And this was filmed entirely at Shepperton. They did a fantastic job.
I did. I will say yes. The because later on the plane too, when the plane ceiling catches on fire, I thought it was very cool the lengths that they went.
Hello to Hooded Man in the chat. He says hello to everybody.
And I believe there are only 2 exterior locations that are used in this film. They just keep redressing them for different scenes.
Oh,
yeah.
Like this area here will double up as the Hall of Justice steps later.
Oh.
Well, if you notice, when they come out of the Statue of Liberty at the end, that's pretty much the back there, where that explosion's taking place right there.
Huh.
So anyway, some other judges turn up.
These are SJS, Special Judicial Squad.
Ah, thank you.
These suits look great. I
Judge
like
hunters.
They're like in internal affairs.
They look really mint. Now that's a serious lawgiver.
That's a law rod.
Looks a bit like the new RoboCop.
Yeah,
hold on, there's a new RoboCop?
Yeah, the one with Joel Kinnaman.
Yeah, no new.
From a few years ago.
Newer than the old one.
I didn't even know there was a RoboCop remake. What?
Yeah, Joel Kinnaman.
Was it any good?
No. It was dire.
Dang.
Joel Kinnaman's a great actor. He was fantastic in Altered Carbon.
Yes.
Or in RoboCop, it was just no. That film, there was no need for it to exist.
Gotcha. All right.
It was a cash grab for Michael Keaton and Gary Oldman. Oh, and any film that's got Samuel L. Jackson in it after Pulp Fiction is just, it's not worth watching. So these guys turn up. Judge Joseph Dredd, you're under arrest for murder. And he's all a bit like, huh? Oh, at least we get to see Diane Lane. But yeah, he's a bit like, what the fudge, Judge. So he gets handcuffed. And he's chucked into it's not an ISO cube, but it's where obviously judges go before they get tried.
You can see why they excluded the lie detector from Dredd's tech, because that would have sorted this out in an instant.
It would have.
It would have done, wouldn't it? Yeah. It removes an entire premise from the storyline.
Well, I think that's been about since his second year, 1978, 1979.
Yeah, that's about right. I mean, I didn't start reading it till 83.
Oh, good times.
When I first got my first paper round, that's when I discovered. I was 9 years old and got my first paper round.
I do have a question actually about
Shoot.
this. So when it comes to judges committing crimes, I know in this movie they've made it just so there's a trial and everything. Is it the same in a lot of the comic book lore, or do the rules apply like they do to civilians, where it's an automatic this, or this?
No, quite ironically, only the judges get due process.
Okay.
But if found guilty, they're done. It's like they throw the book at them.
But there's a trick to be played, so don't spoil it.
They're sent away to Titan to mine for whatever the hell it is they're mining for on Titan.
Ganymede and Titan, yes sir, I've been around. So Fargo gives him a bit of a talk to before the actual trial. And I love all the 3D holographic texts and displays in this scene. But just look at that. Those contacts just do not belong there.
No, they don't.
Look
What was the
really
reason
unnatural.
for taking off the helmet so much? Is it just because it's Stallone? Is
Yeah,
that
pretty
it?
much.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's the only reason.
Ego, and I think the studio as well, because I'm not sure what he got for this. It was a lot of millions, depending on what you read, somewhere between 14 and 18 million. And you're not going to pay that much money for an A-lister and not show his face.
True. Thank you for joining us, Franco. He's going to check out the re-rub tomorrow. Take care, mate. He's off to
Cheerio.
bed. He's had a busy
Good
day
night,
today.
Franco.
So yeah, it's a good scene, effects wise. But yeah, Fargo, he's not happy about all this. He knows this stinks rum. It smells like somebody's waffle stomped in the room. Diane Lane as Judge Hershey, she represents Dredd, and she's captivating. She is very gorgeous.
Her character was so absolutely useless in this entire film.
True.
So he selects her because she apparently had top of her class in, what was it, legislative something or whatever. But during the during the trial,
Yeah, she's about as much use as an ashtray on a motorbike.
Right. It's just the video's too blurry, so you can't definitively prove it's him. And very obviously it's too blurry. And then
It's
she
the
looks
future.
over.
They've had 200 and odd years of CCTV,
Right,
and they're still not any better.
She looks over to Dredd. She's like, I bet you're impressed with me. What is there to be impressed about? You pointed to a blurry video.
But Chief Judge Magruder's got an ace up her sleeve. And that is the fact that Lawgivers 2 have a DNA security key.
Mm-hmm.
So every time a round's fired, it's encoded with the judge's DNA.
I find it incredulous that nobody in this room knew that.
I agree.
Yeah, they're all
Plus,
judges. They're
also,
supposed to know this
evidence.
stuff.
They are revealing this top secret information. If you look around the room, the seats are filled with people in the gallery.
Hmm.
So they've just blown the whistle on the DNA coding on the Lawgiver 2.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
It shouldn't even need to be a secret, should it?
No.
No.
I think this is just a plot device.
I think just to build tension a little bit, make it
Well,
exciting.
this is, I mean, if you've got two people and they're the same person, actually, why didn't Central say, Judge Fargo, you've got the same DNA as Judge Dredd and Judge Rico? Why didn't anybody pick that up?
The
Just
tech in this
saying.
movie has no consistency whatsoever. It keeps breaking its own world building elements just so the plot can lean a certain way, which made this movie just even more
Well, anyway, it's basically in this situation, Dredd is guilty that you can't get out of it. So,
Evidence has been falsified. I didn't break the law. I am the law.
There is
There was something else came up in another stream on this I done last week, was that there are cameras everywhere in Mega City 1. They are everywhere.
Yep.
Dredd could have proved he was somewhere else. And even if he was at home, there would have been cameras that would have seen him coming and going.
True.
And they didn't even ask him if he had an alibi. Where were you on the night of? Maybe he was working. Maybe 20 people seen him somewhere else. And they didn't even ask. Didn't even come up. It's just, well,
if your average civvy can recognize him when they're on a city block, he's got the fucking golden eagle.
Yeah.
He's the only one who has.
Careful with the language. So anyway, there is a trick up Fargo's sleeve.
Mm-hmm.
If he retires as the Chief Justice, the most senior Chief Justice, he can ask for leniency in sentencing, but he has to step down. So he does that, and he'll be going on a long walk, and we'll talk a bit more about that shortly. So he steps down, much to the disgust of everybody watching it. And they're all like, oh, no, can't believe this. And Judge Griffin takes over, and he's got delusions of grandeur. And, I'm not saying Germans want to take over everything with a super race, but that's pretty much what's happening a little bit later on. Sorry to give a bit of the plot away.
How many years Griffin was waiting to be chief judge?
Go on.
9.
That's Melvin Deeply, everybody. He's here all week.
Ba-dum-tish.
And Diane Lane again, looking foxy.
Apparently, they wanted her to do a sex scene in this, a nude scene, and she refused.
With whom? With Stallone?
Guessing it would have been Stallone or the robot.
Or the robot? What?
I'm glad you stood your ground.
Of course, it would have been Stallone.
Droid rights matter.
Yeah.
Hold on. Is this an actual romance that happens in the comic books at all?
No. It's never even alluded to at all.
Okay.
Judge Dredd in the comics, for the most part, is more like a machine than the Terminator is.
Yeah, he's all law.
Okay, that's what I thought as well. Because at the end, when she kisses him, it feels extremely awkward and forced.
It's Stallone. He's hot, isn't he? He's the want of every woman. So he's got to rewrite stuff to make it that way.
That's his rewrite, yes.
Yeah, he called for that. That was a part of the rewrite.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Diane Lane was not happy, apparently.
Oh, did he have a lisp when he kissed her as well?
He'd make a good stand-in for Bob Dylan, wouldn't he, singing? Anyway, he gets sentenced, and he gets his shield taken away from him. Oh, and he gets stuck in handcuffs again. When this time, we see Judge Fargo going on a long walk. It's called the long walk when a Chief Justice retires. This is what he has to do. Z, I'll let you go into further details.
Well, to be honest, any judge can take the long walk. When they've reached their end of their useful lives, they can either do teaching at the academy, or they can walk into the cursed earth to bring law to the lawless until death.
There you go. And that's how that works.
And he gets that 69 gun salute or whatever it is.
Yeah. He's not looking too chuffed about that. He's got a bit of a tear in his eye. Either that or it's very bright out. In the meantime, Judge Joseph Dredd, former Judge Joseph Dredd, he's on his way to Aspen Penal Colony. I love that. That's worth it. So I don't know if you can see him. He's little tiny man. He's right down there at the bottom. He's doing his long walk. He's given a copy of the law and a really tasty lawgiver. Or is it, what did you say it was? Law Rod?
Law Rod, yeah, that's more of rifle, machine gun, automatic weapon thing.
In the meantime, Judge Hershey goes nosing through Dredd's locker, and she finds these two pictures. There's one of him with Rico, when it looks as though it's been de-aged a tiny bit, and the other one's a baby photo. And she gets a bit obsessed with these photos, and that becomes a subplot. What?
That's just ridiculous. Oh, baby Dredd, I never believed you were a baby. It's just
yeah, must investigate. Must investigate. He was a baby. This is very fishy.
Right.
Yeah. Oh dear. Sorry, Feltz. Feltz5 saying that's the ending ruined.
Look at his mother there.
Sorry.
Mouth like a can opener.
Oh.
Yeah.
I did notice something weird about this photo, though. So there's this nice green leafy background, but we do not see a single plant throughout this movie, even in the background.
It's one of those backdrops, when you take the kids to Walmart for the family photos.
Yeah.
It's one of those.
But it's just like that doesn't strike her as strange because the world otherwise tells us that that's not a common thing to see. So you think that would kind of, that alone would tell you that, oh, maybe this photo isn't real. Maybe it's been doctored or something like that.
Sauce.
Yeah.
So Chief Griffin, or now, he's the top man now. Goes into his office. There's a robot waiting for him, which he didn't expect at all. And not only that, there's a Rico waiting for him as well. And they go into a bit of a chat about their scheme. In the meantime, this is the prison transport to, get ready for it, Dredd, you're going to love this, aren't you, Vex? To the Aspen Penal Colony.
And it's dry out there.
It is. Oh, dear.
Yeah, the radiation killed all the snow.
True.
Snow doesn't grow there anymore.
There's no skiing.
What's worse is that it's full of cannibals that eat aspen.
Yeah. Stop giving the plot away. Meanwhile, in a twist of fate, Fergie is sat next to Dredd, and he does this, and then he realizes, and he's Judge Dredd, and then there's a guy behind him like, huh? He kind of has a shiv with him.
Mhm.
How he got that on board is beyond me, because surely these guys are checked left, right, and center.
That's what I thought as well, yeah.
And
And he gets the lock jimmied so
yeah,
quickly.
he jimmies the lock, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And in the meantime, look, it's Spud from Train Spotting. It is. It's Ewan Bremner.
It is, yeah.
I forgot who the guy is who plays the angel dad.
Yeah, Herschel from The Walking Dead. That's all that comes to mind.
Yeah.
He's been in a lot of other things, but
I'm sure that guy in the middle's been in Boom before. So anyway, that's the Angel Gang, and they see the Aspen prison colony transport approaching. And Spud's got a shooter. Is it his Spud gun, I wonder? So in the meantime, this guy's trying to give Dredd a bit of justice.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know whether Rob Schneider's like going, yeah, go on, do him, or he's like, oh, I'm going to get hurt here. But there's a bit of a tussle. Yeah, how we managed to get that on board is beyond me. But it's taking everybody's attention away from what's going off. And how they can see through those windows is beyond me, because they look as though they're sat down a bit far too low down.
I think he smuggled an iPhone with his granddaddy's war watch.
Well, probably. So anyway, there's a bit of an explosion. Spud's fired his Spud gun. And this judge gets knocked on the ground, knocked unconscious, but starts firing his gun, shoots the pilots, as you do, and lo and behold, praise be, gift from above, there's a bounty approaching.
They weren't Christian nutters in the comics.
No.
Yeah, I was going to ask, is that because I thought it was really strange that to inject God and religion here out of nowhere, it happens to be the cannibals in the wasteland.
They weren't cannibals in the comics either.
Oh.
No.
Drew Gordon in the chat rightly says one of the other locations for shooting was in Iceland, and he says a bit of the Icelandic location shooting, and he's quite correct there.
Did you think that when the Aspen Penal Colony ship went down, it looked a bit like the drop ship crashing in Aliens?
A little bit, yeah. Although I don't know who designed this model, but that is very accurate to the world of Dredd.
There's a reasonable chance it was made by the same people.
Yeah, possibly. And I like that as a model. I'd buy that as a kit. So Judge Hershey looking all sultry and seductive. She's a bit obsessed with this picture, so much so that she's logged into Central and says, can you do a scan of this photo? And she does a nice little 1990s 3D render. But as she tries to access any data on who this person might be, she's cut off. So there's a bit of a lock there. She can't get any information. Anything deeper.
There were two photos she picked out. Wasn't Rico in one of them?
Well, yeah, that's the one that's the one she scanned.
Hold on, but he's in a prison with prison guns and everything. So if she's a judge, wouldn't that info?
No, because it's all been hidden.
Okay.
Because it's covering up a deeper plot.
A few scenes ago when he said you'll be stricken from all memory.
Oh, okay. Okay. So there is technology then profiles on everyone, just not when it involves Dredd's innocence, essentially.
Yeah, pretty much.
So anyway, after the crash, there's this elite team, the Judge Hunters, and they're sent by Judge Griffin. And they start going through the wreckage. And Griffin says, no survivors. And lo and behold, they found a survivor. And he's surviving no more. Meanwhile, in the Angel Gang's lair, Dredd and Fergie are strung from the rafters. And, oh, look, Mean Machine.
Now, isn't that spot on for me?
That is spot on for Mean Machine.
I mean, I don't rate the others. Julian,
No, I
Link,
don't.
and Parr, they're not very much like their counterparts, but Mean Machine was absolutely peak. It's
He
fantastic.
was.
It
What,
is, except there's a couple of things, right? When Judge Dredd first met the Angel Gang, Mean Machine still had his left arm as
He
well.
did. I think Dredd shot it.
He did. He had to have it replaced, didn't he?
No,
Well-
the other arm.
The other arm was a real arm.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
No,
Oh,
the-
yeah, I know. It's all right. Yeah, I know what you're on about now.
yeah, the left arm.
Played by Christopher Adamson. I don't know what else he's been in because I didn't look it up. But he is accurate as Mean Machine.
may I ask? So, what are these characters like in the comic book, and what did they really change for this part?
They just dumbed them down and just, apart from Mean Machine, they've kind of toned them down for a PG-13 audience.
They were a bit of a psychotic murder gang.
Yeah.
And they do live in the wasteland, like people do actually
Yeah,
still
in
live out
Cursed
there.
Earth.
Okay.
But they
They're
keep
like,
managing to find a way into Mega City 1 all the time.
Yeah, they're like Wild West bandits kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
So Parr quickly discovers that this guy is a judge. Not only that, it's Judge Dredd.
Can you just go back one slide?
That one.
I also have that tattoo on my right arm.
Really?
I do, yes.
Oh,
Nice.
Do you have a tramp stamp?
I do.
What's the tramp stamp? I got to know.
I'm not telling you.
Anyway, moving on before we get a bit rum.
Is it Rob Schneider?
No,
Just asking.
not that I know anyway.
I have a
but
dial that goes from 1 to 4, but it's just above my gentleman's area.
family show, Z. We're legit now. Anyway,
There's no choice.
Mean Machine has a series of numbers. He's got a dial. He's a bit. Oh dear. Yeah, it turns up the crazy, and it goes from 1 to 4. And obviously, Parr flicks him around, and he's got a number for any situation. And after a bit of to and fro between him and Dredd, he headbutts Dredd, and he gets this like, and then Mean Machine's like, what? No. So anyway, Fergie gives it some hallelujah, and he says, they're not really religious nutters, and they're actually cannibals, and they're well renowned for spit roasting people.
No, Family Channel, Trev.
Yeah, but look, they're spit roasting that guy. So I've not said anything wrong. I'm only saying what I'm seeing. So anyway, he taunts. Stop it. He taunts Mean Machine. And he goes to give him another headbutt, and he done half. He takes a proper swing at this one, but he misses and hits the beam what's holding Dredd and Fergie up. And he manages to get out, and he starts shooting the rest of the Angel Gang. And he switches Mean Machine off, which I thought was dead funny. He's like, "Oh, shut up."
This Mean Machine thing was actually my favorite part of this entire movie. I like what they did to him. I like the makeup effects and all that stuff. He just looked really cool. So he was hands down my favorite part of this entire movie.
Well, later on in the Judge Dredd comics, he started going more solo, didn't he, Z?
Well, yes, he got his own series. I think it was called Travels with My Shrink.
Oh yeah.
Oh, was it like a comedy series? Or?
It was a comedy series.
Yeah.
Okay.
Time traveling, wasn't it?
And also Son of Mean, where he finds out that he's got a kid.
So anyway, he turns him off, and then Parr gets shot by somebody completely different, and it's the SWAT team of the judges out hunting for Dredd or any survivors. And Dredd, he does this amazing jump, even though he's 5'1", and he does this amazing jump, jumps 8 feet, grabs hold of some floorboards, manages to pull himself up and start running away from all these shots being fired, gets hold of one of these law rods, which doesn't have to have a voice control to be passed over in this series, I noticed, and he starts dispatching all these judge hunters.
Wouldn't it need the DNA to get triggered as well?
Well, his DNA's already on profile, isn't it?
But he's a prisoner now, so...
It doesn't work on the big guns. I checked this out because I thought it should have been the case.
Really?
It's just for the lawgivers, not for the
law rods. Oh, well, there we go.
But they didn't really establish that at any point, did they?
Yeah, there's nothing in the comics to say that the...
I mean, in the movie, they didn't establish it that way.
Yeah, no, they didn't. So anyway, this other judge is just about to shoot Dredd, and he gets shot himself. And you'll never believe in a million years who saves the day. He says, stalling while trying to load the next set of slides. It's former Chief Judge Fargo. And then before anything can happen, he's speared through the chest by a Mean Machine.
That was another really terrible scene because he's standing there on the stairs. There's no way Mean Machine could have been behind him without anybody seeing him. And they're standing there, they talk for a minute, and then Mean Machine just appears from nowhere and stabs him. It's like, how?
But look at that. How does he do that? How does somebody manipulate the lip like that?
String.
Well, he does it with commiserate ease.
The last time I saw anybody manipulate the lips like that, it was Clyde from Any Which Way But Loose.
Ah, you haven't seen my Pornhub bookmarks.
Less of that. It's a family channel for family people.
It's like Elvis if his mouth was upside down.
Isn't it? So anyway, Mean Machine's like, that is a typical Mean Machine face, isn't it?
They only had one metal arm prop. And it constantly broke.
Oh.
So anyway, Judge Dredd, I'm just going to call him Dredd until he's a judge again, takes a swipe at Mean Machine, but he's set to 4. And this next slide matches perfectly with this one, because it's like, it was then, at that moment, Judge Dredd realized he'd messed up. Didn't swear. How did I manage that? So that's a great look. Hokey cokey. Not a problem. So he takes a swipe at Dredd, and he punches the wall. And then he starts summarily sentencing him. He judges him. And has a go at him for wasting city power illegally, even though he's not actually plugged into any kind of grid. And he passes sentence and shocks him, killing him. But that's not how it goes in the comics, because Judge Dredd's killed him God knows how many times. He always seems to come back. So anyway, further scanning of the baby photo of Dredd reveals that it's a photo of a baby in a laboratory.
They should have just uploaded it to Grok.
Pretty much. Probably wouldn't have done a better job. So we go back to the main plot of Chief Fargo. He's dying, and he tells Dredd the whole truth and nothing but the truth. And then we get a shot of Lady Justice there. And Fargo dies. And
those might actually be Widowmaker guns, which replace the law rods because the law rods are too inaccurate.
The law rods had a longer end of the rifle, if you look there.
So those are probably Widowmakers.
Right, there we go. There's a clear distinction. I'm not really keeping up with the chat. I'm sorry, but I'm really into this, to be fair.
Can I just say I had some issues with this whole scene with fighting the cannibal. Yeah. Just so like when we're introduced to Dredd at the very beginning of the film, he's kind of very strict and rigid on the law, and then progressively as the film kind of unfolds, they try to make him more human, but they do it in a way that contradicts itself kind of at every turn.
Do you know why?
Go ahead.
Because somebody's meddling with the storyline and demanding rewrites.
It made it very hard for me to want to stay engaged, because I was like, you can do this with the character. That's not the issue. It's just that you're doing it in such a weird manner that it makes any kind of arc that he might have in this movie for naught completely.
Well, when somebody keeps throwing the line, "Did you write Rocky?" at you on the set, you can't really argue with him when he keeps threatening to walk off and ruining the production.
Okay, question then. Is there a version of the script before Stallone doctored it?
I don't know. I bet it's somewhere on the interwebs. Somebody will have it.
Never read it. I'm sure one probably exists.
I'd be curious to see what this movie looked like before he intervened, because
Because the ending to this is really choppy when it comes to editing. Things happen for no apparent reason. So there are big parts of this film that are actually missing.
Gotcha.
Yes, and so much so in the end scenes in the laboratory, and you'll notice that in the slides a little bit later on.
Mhm.
So this is Ilsa. She's a big fan of what they've trying to achieve here by creating a set of clones that can be controlled more easily. And then we see the ABC warrior in the background, and Rico. He's quite enamored with Ilsa. They sort of develop a working relationship. So all the judges start getting called out on these bogus calls, and they start getting blown up and assassinated. There's this lady here. She goes in for a can of Lynx Africa, and she's blown away, literally, with the rest of the judges getting changed. And then another judge out on the street, he finds that ABC warrior, and they all start getting shot. And a good line here, my boy.
Hold
before
on.
he chomps on a stogie.
I got lost here completely. Okay, so why is his plan to just kill all the judges?
Right, so they can unlock the Janus project, which was the cloning project that created Rico and Dredd.
Uh-huh.
Right, so they can have a batch of judges that all think the same, all act the same, that are less emotional, possibly a bit crazy around the edges, but they're more easily controlled by whoever's in charge.
So isn't that a little bit problematic for the story so far? Because at this point in the film, it's revealed that the cloning process has only worked once, and it's to do Dredd and Rico. And clearly there's a huge issue because one became a psycho.
Well, the thing is, Griffin is hoping to provide the DNA sample.
Hold on. Does that really change anything?
Well, also, it's been like 30 plus years between when they were cloning and stopped until the Janus program reopens. So there have been major advancements in cloning technology and obviously genetics, but that's not made apparent in the movie anywhere.
No, it's not.
That's what I mean. So like
they just go back to the old lab and go, well, you can get us back up and running then, can't you?
Right. Yeah, there's just a huge plot hole there in terms of just world building a little bit to explain that, which really threw me off on his motivations.
Well, yeah, again, that's what happens when people stick the finger in the pie. You know? Did you like Rocky? No. So anyway, Dredd and Fergie are outside Mega City 1 and looking for a way to get back in. And there's a rumour that you can do it through these thermal exhaust ports, which seem quite popular in films.
Yes, and although they appear on the walls when Fargo walks out, none of them have flames bursting out of them at any point.
Yeah, which is very true. Well pointed out. So, meanwhile, back in Mega City 1, on Judge Hershey's Lawmaster, there's a warning, foreign device, and there's another one of these little can things. She manages to jump off just in the nick of time, and then her law master explodes. And Judge Esposito's like, oh, we're getting creamed out there. And Judge Magruder's like, what are we going to do? So this is building up. This has all been, planned out. A bit of conspiracy. Nice one. And, it's all about taking control. Every bit of this has just been, set up from the get-go. All by this guy, Chief Griffin.
Evil.
So, he's saying, just go back there. We can always unlock the Janus project. So we go back to this scene here of Dredd and Fergie trying to get back into Mega City 1. And they have this bit of an argument. Did that helmet compress your brain? He's like, and look what it says there on his shirt backs. It says Aspen Penal Colony. So anyway, they make a run for it in this thermal exhaust port. And Rob Schneider does a Scooby-Doo Velma thing and trips over and is Dredd. So Dredd starts running back for him. The flames start approaching from the opposite side, strangely enough.
Yep.
How would that's even possible? So they start making a run for it. Dredd notices a bit of a floor pan there, and
surely they're running towards the way they came in now.
Yeah,
That's
they're not.
what I was thinking. Yep.
No, it's all happening in reverse. How did this happen? Did nobody notice this massive plot hole? No, because somebody messed about with the script again and the plot. I think it'd be better if we did it this way. I don't think so, Sylvester. It's written.
Did you like Lucky?
Yeah. That became the line of the production, apparently. Did you like Lucky?
No.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
He kept throwing that around like confetti. So they dropped through this grate in the floor and come out this. It reminded me of the Goonies, the water slide scene.
Oh, yeah. Good point. Yep.
A bit like that, really. It does borrow from a lot of films, and they seem to land in this magic pile of soot. And that just looks wrong, doesn't it? Rob Schneider in the dirt with Stallone.
Hold on. I have a quick question, not pertaining to the plot. So Sylvester Stallone how did he sign on to this movie? Does anyone know?
He was approached.
Yeah, he hadn't got any clue who Judge Dredd was prior to this movie script.
And he didn't all the way through making it either, or after. And he didn't really give a bobbins, did he?
So they wanted to hire him for this, but I'm guessing he threatened to walk if he couldn't change the script in the ways that he wanted to. Is that?
Yeah, he kept having a diaper baby.
Okay, and they're just like, he's popular right now. He'll sell the film. Let's just let him do what he wants, kind of deal.
He was in a lull in his career.
Oh.
And this is pretty much not long after Tango and Cash and the like, and he was making one sort of duff film after another, and this just became another duff film. But it's one of those, it's kind of endured and become a cult classic because it's that bad it's good.
Yeah, that's the feeling that I've kind of gotten.
It's a bit like a pop culture B movie. You can watch this if you don't engage your brain, and even if you don't know the backstory of you never even read 2000 AD, you can still enjoy this. But it's just popcorn fodder. This is they've turned a great comic and a great character into just Hollywood plop. Yes, Melv?
I would say that if you hadn't read the comic, this would be a benefit. You're going to watch it and you're going to think this is like one of a 1980s straight to VHS kind of film.
Yeah.
But if you read the comic, then you're just going to be looking through your fingers.
It's a bit like Nick Cage, Agent of Fury, but with David Hasselhoff. So this is one of the last locks being lifted on the Janus project. And it's just basically a cloning project so they can get all these judges again. And all the locks are unsealed. I have full access to Project Janus. I was in a submarine. I had a better experience once. Oh, I love Jürgen Prochnow. He was great in Beer Fest. If you've never seen Beer Fest, you need to check that movie out.
Janus Aspen Penal Colony.
I know.
Come on.
I'm going to have to stick this on the screen. Feltz 5 has piqued my interest here. He says, can we have Stallone in Wallace asking for a pick and mix and a copy of Rocky on VHS? Do you want me to give that a go? All right. I want a pick and mix and a copy of Rocky on VHS. Did you like Rocky? No, sorry. Anyway, hello to Flav, who's just joined the chat. It's nice to have everybody in the chat. I'm really, really enjoying it tonight. This is really good. It's a fresh start, and I'm loving the new time, new place. It's the place to be. So anyway,
Tuesday.
Look at that. It's Judge Hammer. Whoa, 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 hammer time. And he's going to his locker, and Fergie's like, hey, yeah, you, come here. I'm committing a crime. And lo and behold, Judge Dredd lays him out, and he starts taking his uniform. And typical sort of like crass toilet humor from Rob Schneider.
I did like this scene. It was so
we haven't got time for this. And Stallone like looks up at him and goes, did you like Rocky? No, didn't.
That's the justification. You get the okay if you wrote Rocky.
Oh, dear. So Judge Griffin orders Central to reopen and reactivate the Janus project, which is already sort of like the wheels are in motion anyway, because he's got it all planned. And Rico's cock-a-hoop by this. Those contacts still do not look right.
Makes him look like a frog.
It does a little bit. Thank you, Jacob Ironside, for joining us. He's just popping off now. Take care, my friend. Hope everything goes well with the new move and the new place.
Cheers, Jacob.
So anyway, Rico comes. He goes, Rico! And he comes bounding in and he shoots all the rest of the chief judges.
Who says
Chief
politics
justices.
is boring?
Yeah. They don't actually call them chief justices, though, do they? And I kind of...
It's the council, isn't it?
Yeah, but they were chief justices, though.
Not all at the same time.
Oh, right. So Fargo was and then Griffin's. Yeah, all right, fair enough.
Yeah.
So even though they were on the council, they were still judges, but higher than judges.
Yeah, they're like judges from the chief judges from the first 15 years, I would have said.
Right, okie.
But they were all judges at one point.
Oh, yeah, of course. So anyway, they're all gone. Judge Dredd hears this because he's obviously snuck back into Justice Hall. And he's like, Rico. He's like, Dredd. And he goes, did you ride Rocky? No. And he's going, well, I did. I rode Rocky. It was good. So Griffin tells Rico to go and do one quick. And he says, he thinks you're going to get away with this, yeah? Well, don't worry. I've got you covered. And he shoots himself in the arm and screams for security. And he's like, quick, get him. He killed all the council.
This bit was one of the... I know there was a lot of silly bits in this, but this is one of the silliest bits.
It is, isn't it?
They blame this on Dredd, but Dredd just turned up there by chance. They didn't know Dredd was going to turn up. So who were they going to blame it on had Dredd not turned up?
True.
And the caliber of the pistol was not going to match that of his Widowmaker.
True. But he's back onto law rods there, look.
Nice big hefty bitches.
Language, it's a family show for family people.
He could be referring to female dogs. That's fine.
Yeah,
That's scientific.
yeah.
And I like this. He kills everybody. He killed all the judges.
Why is he Austrian now?
Well,
Get
he
to the
is.
chopper.
He is. He's German. His name's Jürgen, for goodness sake. I'm being very restrained tonight. So anyway, Judge Dredd gets on the flying lawmaster, and it starts going a bit pear-shaped, and he hits it, and he goes... he starts hitting it. As you do when you're in a life or death situation. What's going to fix it more than anything? By hitting it, which was the par for the course for the action hero in the 1980s.
This was another issue here, but you didn't have the picture. As they're running towards the Lawmaster, he is wearing sleeves, and when he gets on and drives away, he's in a t-shirt.
Yeah. Well, he did dump it off, though, I think. Or did they not show that? I can't remember.
They didn't show it. But
So
this
anyway,
is where the editing starts going to. This final stretch of the film, the editing's all over the place.
yeah, it goes a bit just regular popcorn. So it starts malfunctioning, and he goes, "Did you ride Rocky?" And it goes, "Oh, shut up!" And it starts working again. And he flies off with Fergie, starts shooting away at the wall, blasts through it, drops through, and it goes pear-shaped again, and he hits it, and it goes online. Just all in the nick of time. It's all a plot of convenience, this. Almost as if somebody had delved into the script and made subtle rewrites to make Sylvester Stallone look even better than he actually is. And he says, "Did you ride Rocky?" And Schneider's like, "Shut the up." Or he should do. So anyway, a chase ensues. And it's funny, those other lawmasters fly. There's no problem with them. So was that the prototype? Me wonders.
It was an Amazon return.
Probably.
It was a
Hooded
warehouse.
Man says 3 seashells. I don't know. It might have something to do with 3 seashells. To wait and see. And I like this. Mega nuts. Like a holographic grid advertisement.
Oh, yeah, that's the billboard I said earlier.
Yeah. So they fly through it and then use it to kill one of the chasing judges. And that was quite a good effect, really, because that explosion looked like water didn't it? I don't know if it was manipulated water in that sign or what, but the explosion itself looked like water. And then there's a good bit here where they drop down and fly above the streetscape, and that just looks so good. Fair enough, it's a rehash of the sets from earlier, where the Giga's Bazaar was and everything else, but it was still such a good use. And this bit reminded me of Return of the Jedi. You know, the Endor biker chase scene?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's basically just a clone of that. They start flying through this, like, train tunnel. It's almost like that train tunnel from Fifth Element as well, if you notice. But obviously, Fifth Element was after this. Yeah, Judge Dredd gets level with this guy. And it's almost like Luke and Leia, isn't it, on the speeder bike? And there's the scout trooper. And he does exactly what they do in that. He jumps off, chucks that guy off, and then the flying lawmaster that Fergie's on starts to malfunction properly. Dredd lifts him off just in the nick of time. Yeah, we've got the malfunction. And he pulls him off just right at the moment, and then boom, that crashes into a building.
Kills 2 floors of people.
Yeah, and then Judge Dredd gets away with it, so does Fergie. So they go to Hershey's place, and Hershey's like, oh, did you write Rocky? And he's like, yeah, I did.
Yeah, what's the magic word?
Rocky. It's Adrian. But Diane Lane looking really gorgeous in this film. She does look stunning. So she's like, so tell me a bit more about this then. And if you look at it, those photos have been obviously airbrushed to make them look a lot younger. And Rico looks like Tiger Einstein from Terrorhawks. Or is that just me?
I think that's just you.
Okay. Moving swiftly on.
Didn't Tiger Einstein have like a Beatles haircut?
No, he had like a turbo nonce haircut, to be fair. Meanwhile, in other news...
Joan Jen was a good-looking bod.
She was, and she was all over the place. Was she in Twin Peaks as well at the same time?
I never watched that.
Seem to think she was. She was in all the trendy stuff in the early to mid-90s, then seemed to have disappeared.
Was she? I don't recognize her at all.
She was in Taipan with Brian Brown.
Yes, she was. So anyway, Rico instructs Central to destroy the old sample and take a new one. And it's from him. Chief Griffin turns up at the Janus lab, finds out what Rico's done, and the look on his face just says it all. It's like, you've sank my battleship. And Rico says, yeah, but did you write Rocky? No. I had a bad experience in a submarine once. Sorry, I can only do one kind of German accent. And
I can tell. Like it's not even German. It's Austrian.
Well, I'm glad you understand the clear definition between the two languages there. So anyway, the ABC warriors instructed to grab hold of Griffin. And you know that song, You've Had a Bad Day?
Mm-hmm.
It's a bit like that for Griffin. Not only is his plan to be the genetic template for the next master race of judges in Mega City 1 been completely destroyed by Rico, Rico instructs the ABC warrior to pull him limb from limb, which he does.
Rip his arms and legs off and leave his head for last.
Yeah, he turns him into man jam, quite literally. And he splashes out all over the lab floor. So, in the Statue of Liberty's head, there's that big hole we saw earlier, and Dredd flies in on the new super-duper Lawmaster, which can fly perfectly with no problems, and it can carry 3 people, Hershey and Fergie. As you do. And it just so happens that the Janus laboratory is inside the Statue of Liberty, which, like a TARDIS, is a lot bigger on the inside than it is on the outside.
It most certainly is. It's a really weird location to have a cloning lab.
Yeah.
It's like a supervillain lair, isn't it?
Yeah.
Pretty much. Yeah, but you could tell, yet again, that's meddling from somebody who wrote a script once and just lets everybody know about it. So they go looking through the Statue of Liberty, And they find more than they expect, really. There's more than just a laboratory in there. It's kind of like the gift that keeps on giving. Because they find an ABC warrior which grabs hold of Judge Hershey, shoots Fergie in the stomach, and then a magic door opens out of nowhere, and it's Rico, holding a lawgiver.
A Mark II lawgiver.
Yeah, sorry, Mark II lawgiver, as I'm quite rightly corrected by Chief Justice Deeply.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a family show. You've got to get that part right.
It is. You have to be correct. And that's quite a good look. There's actually a bit of dynamic range on Stallone's face there. Instead of looking like, he's looking quite reasonable. But Hershey's feeling the grip of pressure off the ABC drone, a warrior. Fergie's still bleeding out. And then he's introduced to the Janus laboratory, and it's like, this is where we were born, brother. And this is really freaky, because these clones look... although you can tell that the masks are based on Armand Sante's face, they do actually look quite scary. Yeah, look at that. You can tell that's based on his face, can't you?
Surely, if he's cloning himself, it would work the same way that Fargo was cloned. Half of these guys are going to be good.
Yeah, but if Rico's the embodiment of everything that's bad and unjust, wouldn't they all be like him and be bad and unjust?
Well, but they've got identical DNA.
I suppose it's a 50-50 chance, isn't it? Even if the identical DNA's there. You know, if it worked for, like you were saying, yeah, because it all boils back down to being Chief Fargo. It's the same DNA.
So does this mean, was Chief Fargo like a villain at some point then?
No, he was a good guy.
He was a good guy, yeah.
No, I know, but the fact that he's got such, his DNA was able to spawn someone who is really lawful and someone who is really villainous.
Maybe it's the duplicitous nature of cloning.
It might be that. I mean, also you've got to bear in mind that Fargo was in charge of the judges during the Civil War. So he's probably done some questionable things.
Gotcha. Okay.
So Fergie's bleeding out, comes out with a few Rob Schneider-y, comic-y quips. The ABC warrior gives him like a bit of a dirty look. And then we go into this bit of it's a bit of like ping pong between a bad guy and a good guy. But the dialogue's really lacking here. I don't know if you all noticed that. It's like the dialogue in these scenes is really weak.
I think it was pretty weak for the whole film, to be fair.
No. I think it really shines at being rubbish here.
It reaches a new level.
Yeah, pretty much. Did you write Rocky, Rico? Huh? No, I didn't write Rocky. Did you write Rocky? Oh, sorry, I sure did.
So here's a question for Z. Z?
Yeah.
In what other movie did Sylvester Stallone and Armand Sante play brothers?
I know this. No, I can't. It's on the tip of my mind.
Trev?
Oh, crikey. I know it, but you've kind of put me on the spot.
Yeah, you will kick yourself because you do know it.
I do.
It is Paradise Alley.
That's it.
Yeah.
Now, Stallone actually wanted a Sante in to play Rico. Originally, it was going to be Michael Ironside.
Hey, that'd have been good. Like pre-Richter.
I like Armand Sante as an actor. I think he could have been better as Rico had it not been this film.
Yeah, he's a bit almost too much of a camp parody of a villain.
But it was very much like, if you're looking at it like that, it was very much like Michael Ironside in Highlander 2, like way over the top.
Yeah, almost like that pantomime level bad guy.
Yeah. Like the
In other news, how gorgeous does Diane Lane look, even though she's being grabbed?
Nothing wrong with being fondled by a droid.
Did you know how many people were controlling that robot? Because it was a practical effect.
It was a practical effect, and I did know the answer to that at one point.
It was all run on hydraulics.
I believe it was 3 people.
No, more than that.
3.5?
Nope.
3.8?
Well, in one story, I read there were 5 people controlling it. Then another story where there were 25 people controlling it. So it's more than 3, definitely. So I would err on the side of caution and say that 5 is a bit more realistic.
I would say 25 is certainly over.
Yes, definitely. I think that was just hyperbole to sell the film, really. So anyway, ABC Warrior starts going a bit tilt. But look at that. Look how good the model itself is. And it actually worked. Fair enough, it wasn't a real robot. It was just controlled by... it was an animatronic controlled by hydraulics, but that just looks so good. And Rob Schneider is kicking it in the freaking balls. You can do it.
You can do it, yeah.
You reprogramming it by making sparks, because that's how you reprogram robots.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that is a good one, Z. I'm going to put your comment up on the screen. Our very own Z says the poster was featured.
No, you need the one before that.
Oh, sorry, it scrolled up. When I press it, sometimes it scrolls up and it shoots the gun. Danny Cannon had a poster for a Judge Dredd film that he created himself and published in Prog 534 of 2000 AD, dated August 8th, 1987. Before the film came out.
Indeed. So he's
Well
a
before.
full-time fan.
Definitely. So he tried to stay true to the source material.
Well, if you bring up his ideal cast list, which is the next message.
Right, let me go back to it.
Yeah, in 87, Ford
Here we
would have
go.
been perfect, yes.
The poster featured Harrison Ford as Judge Dredd, Daryl Hannah as Judd Anderson. Wow, that's a good call. And Judge Christopher Walken as an additional co-star. Ridley Scott was listed as the director. I don't think that would have worked for me, for Ridley Scott.
I'm gonna
Might have been better with
into
Tony in the 80s for an action movie, considering what he did for Top Gun.
Oh, Top Gun is one of my least favorite films ever made.
Really? I don't know. I like a Tony Scott film. I love Last Boy Scout. We might do that one day.
That's probably peak.
Yeah?
For an action movie for Tony Scott, yeah.
So anyway, the Janus Laboratory starts going to pot. There's a bit of
no reason.
For no reason, yeah, it just starts blowing up. And Rico just tries to get Central to hatch the clones early. Joan Chen's Ilsa and Judge Hershey start having a bit of a girl fight. And I've got that scene just for you, Melv. I had you in mind.
Why is she squinting like that?
No, I wasn't looking. I was looking chin downwards.
I'm joking.
This is a family-friendly stream, I thought.
It is. I'm not suggesting anything, Vex. Just because you've got a dirty mind.
How do you think families get made, Vex?
Only you could laugh at Aspen Prison Colony.
Oh, come on.
Colony, sorry.
Come on.
So girl fight ensues.
Someone wrote the script and didn't see that.
Did you like Rocky? No. So the clones start hatching. And they're all a bit gooey. Diane Lane's quite fascinated by the goo. And Joan Chen's a bit, oh my God, what have I done? Bit too late. They all kind of look like this, and they haven't got formed mouths or anything.
What is this is this taken from a comic or something? Like these
No,
this is just purely for this movie. It's just Hollywood canon popcorn fodder is the word I'm trying to say. So anyway, Rico tries having a bit of a scuffle, and Dredd's looking for him. He can't find him. And then the Janus Laboratory just blows up a bit more for no apparent reason. It's totally toast. Rico makes a run for it on the flying Lawmaster, and Dredd grabs him off at the last bit, and the Lawmaster goes crashing down to the ground. And then they have a bit of a proper scuffle, and he talks about family and the law and, loyalty, all that kind of thing. And he tries to bring him around to the dark side of the law. Can't do it, because Judge Dredd is the quintessential lawman. He's the epitome of law in the future. Mm-hmm. So anyway, scuffle. Those contacts just keep distracting me. They just look so unnatural. So they're having this big, massive fight in the head of the Statue of Liberty, and yet again, TARDIS time. How is it bigger on the inside than it is on the outside?
Where's the lab?
Exactly. It's down the corridor. So does it go into that building behind
I
it?
don't know. Is the building attached to Liberty's head?
That's what I'm thinking.
But when we saw it in the opening, it was actually completely detached from anything.
Yeah,
So
but
it
not
just doesn't
now.
make- Yeah, it just doesn't make sense at all.
Yeah, plot device aplenty.
Mhm.
So anyway, Rico manages to best Judge Dredd, and he's hanging on for dear life. And he's just about to judge him, and he judges him for what, lads?
For not writing Rocky.
Oh dear. Big silence there from Judge Z and Chief Justice Deeply.
Well,
What was it going to judge him for? On?
judge him for something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For not having loyalty to his own flesh.
I don't know. It was so lame.
True. So anyway, he makes one last ditch attempt to grab hold of the lawgiver, and he sets it to flare, fires a flare, distracts Rico, and then he judges him, and Vex's pussy knocks a mug over.
How did you know?
Oh, well.
That is what knocked it over.
Yeah, I know. I can tell. And then he, what does he say here? I knew you'd say that. Did you write Rocky? I knew you'd say that too. And he chucks Rico over the edge. And just as he's about to pull himself back up, Joan Chen's Ilsa shows up with a gun. And then she's quickly dispensed by Judge Hershey. And doesn't she look the hottest here?
Oh, she
Oh
does.
yes. Oh yes.
She
That
could
is
have
just
had a
like post
career in
cat
cosplay.
fight. Post cat fight, female testosterone, if that's such a thing. She just.
We were talking about her a couple of days ago as well. She
Hmm.
stayed hot for a ridiculous amount of time.
She did. She was still hot
Yeah.
in Superman, like the Man of Steel movie. She was still hot in there too.
Like that's superior DNA.
True. Gord King says in the chat, lady looks like she gave up on liberty. Oh, a little bit, yes. Yes, but Stallone's not looking too impressed because she didn't write Rocky.
When he
So-
was hanging on the edge there, and one of the slides you had a couple of minutes ago, where you see the back view, and he's wearing that vest. It's like only an Italian would wear something like that. Eh?
Yeah. Yeah, it's like a pre-Sopranos, but in the future. It's a union job.
You'd never see a Brit wearing a vest like that.
Well, I don't like to say anything, but I am actually wearing a vest right now.
Same.
Really?
Aww.
Yeah, blue one.
Me? I'm wearing a blue one as well.
Yeah,
Aww.
dark navy blue. Did you get
No,
it from
no, mine's-
Tesco?
Yeah.
Same, £5.
Yeah.
We're wearing the same vest, Trev.
Flo and Fred.
That's so cute.
That's exactly what I've got on right
Yeah, I've got the light blue one, and I've also got the grey because it came in a double pack.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
I'm sure it matches your codpiece.
oh, we could have a bromance almost on channel bromance. But moving swiftly on before people start thinking it's a rum kind of a program, because it's a family program, family orientated. It's a new leaf for the show. He comes out at the bottom of the Statue of Liberty, and he's greeted by what's left of the judges from all ilks of the judge hierarchy. And he goes, am I under arrest? And they go, no. And he went, did you write Rocky? And there's Basaltar Getty.
Balthazar.
Yeah.
Balthazar.
I always have trouble saying that name.
Like Barracuda.
Yes, by heart. That's a different song and a different story. So he says, I'm under arrest. And he goes, like, no. We want you to be the top man. We want you to be Daddy Law. And he goes, I can't do that. I'm just a street judge. And wow, supreme hotness right there. Oh, wow. Crikey. And he's got a uniform ready and waiting for him. And he gets
Yeah.
on a lawmaster.
That was very nice of him to bring him some clean clothes.
Yeah. And yet Diane Lane looking supremely gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
And Travesty, she kisses him. But when she does it, you could tell it's like he wrote this in. he wanted this.
Yeah, it doesn't work at all. No flow
And
into
she's
it,
like,
no build up to this.
oh my
No.
God, he tastes of Capicola. Ugh. He tastes like an Italian deli.
I was wondering if after she kissed him, she asked, "Wow, you really did write Rocky."
Yeah. And then Rob Schneider's like, I taught him everything he knows. We never knew what happened to Fergie after he got taken away.
They probably sent
Nope.
him back to Aspen.
Yeah, 20 years.
Aspen Penal
Colin.
Colony
Colony.
for our Vex. She loves that one. And then he just made it sort of sexual towards himself at the end. You know? There's Hershey. She's putting on his helmet, which seems like there's some inference there.
This whole ending doesn't make any sense because like he should be fearful of the whole judge system now or like be questioning it because it just royally tried to screw him over.
Or he used the law, the righteousness of being right and the law to exonerate himself.
That too.
And expose a massive conspiracy and an injustice within the law system.
And nobody cares about that.
Yeah.
Well, all the perpetrators have been killed. They're all dead.
And so everyone... Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Melvin.
He just showed that the judges were corrupt from top to bottom.
Mm. Apart from Fargo, even though he might have been an unjust person in an unjust time, you know, but he turned it around and he tried to bring law to a lawless society. Because society cannot exist without some form of governance and control, some boundaries. You know, it's all about that system of control, and it all starts from the top down. So anyway, he goes off on his lawmaster, because he's a street judge after all. And everybody's like, yay, hooray for Dredd. And he's got a big grin on his face. And it was just such a cheesy letdown ending, to be fair.
Dredd doesn't smile.
No, he doesn't. He never
smiles
did.
Less than he takes his helmet off.
He does.
This was also strange because the beginning of the movie set up this entire premise that this is a truly lawless city of 65 million people. Yet all of these judges out in the open are able to gather and celebrate this one conspiracy.
Yeah.
Together.
Which is crazy.
Yeah, nobody's trying to shoot at them, even though Dredd clearly has a lot of enemies.
Yep. And on that note, I just want to let everybody know that on Tuesday, the 10th of June, 9 p.m. UK time, we'll be doing 2012 Dredd. Just as an aside, how do we feel about that compared to this?
Oh,
I love it.
Because I think Dredd 2012 is the far superior film.
Agreed.
Without a doubt.
Aesthetically and the way it's written.
Absolutely. You know that Stallone received the worst actor nomination for Judge Dredd at the 95 Golden Raspberry Awards.
Well, he killed this film just by messing with it. Did you like Rocky? That was his. I bet you any money, everybody was just ripping him behind the scenes for demanding rewrites and getting them the way he did. Danny Cannon, he must have felt like Fincher on Alien 3.
Danny
Cannon felt something because he wasn't allowed back on set for reshoots.
Who wasn't?
Danny Cannon.
Really?
Mm.
That just shows you.
Danny Cannon didn't work again for 3 years after this. And
what an a-hole.
Yeah, he went to Hollywood.
Not Danny Cannon, but Stallone.
He went to Hollywood and he was co-creator and producer of CSI. And
yes, that's true.
Became very rich.
That much I did know. So we've got a bit of a treat here. Oh wow!
Oh, yes.
I'm going to expand this, so we're going to disappear off the screen for a second.
This is Probe 1187, Blood Cadets Part 2. I said Part 3 earlier, my error. And if you look at the bottom there, there's Joe and Rico without their helmets. Now, the original art of this is only in inks. Because it was colored digitally. So
gotcha.
I've got the original version of this, which
wow.
is one of the very few face shots of Judge Dredd. I think there's about 6 in total, and a lot of those are obscured.
Even that
Joe
looks
and
like it's a
Rico.
child Judge Dredd as well, isn't it?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Well, are they 5 at this point? I guess so.
I think so. I think because this is their induction at the Academy of Law.
It looks like a load of Jason Statham clones.
Yeah.
Little
That is a
Georgie
good
Dredd.
find. Oh, I love it when you do your half a sixpence voice, Vex. I love it. So that was Judge Dredd, 1995. Sadly messed by Sylvester Stallone, who let everybody know on a hourly basis that he wrote Rocky.
It should be happy because it was very rocky writing.
Yeah. I'd like to
Rocky
thank Judge
watching.
Vex for joining us tonight. Thank you, Judge Vex.
Are we not doing maths
My
out of
pleasure.
10?
No.
Oh, well.
No, it doesn't deserve it.
It doesn't
to be
get higher
fair.
than a 4, let's admit it.
No.
Okay, yeah, that's true. I was going to give it like a
The
1.5.
only word that comes to mind rhymes with rank, so we'll leave it there. So thank you, Judge Vex, for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having me, Judge Trev. I'm looking forward to being on this judge, jury, executioner panel next week.
In fact, is it all us 3 again next week?
Yes.
Is it just 4?
It's always going to be just 4 from now on.
Oh, so I guess so. Yeah, same 4 then, I guess.
Hey,
Jolly times ahead.
any more's a crowd. Thank you, Judge Z, for your judgment tonight, sir.
Always a pleasure to chat about one of my favourite topics.
And one day we might get to see your cosplay of Judge Dredd.
You'll see it next week.
Next
He's
week?
wearing it now. He's wearing it now.
Oh, he's not. He's wearing a vest, like me.
Yeah, I'm going cottaging after this show.
Nice.
Aw.
It's a family show for family people.
I don't know what that
He means he's going to look at places on Zoopla.
Exactly
and I want to thank you, Chief Justice deeply for your governance over the stream tonight, sir.
Nay bother. I don't know. That's the thing. Nay bother.
I like it. I like a Scottishism on our show. It's great. So I want to
okay.
say thank you to everybody who's joined in tonight. Thank you to the chat. Thank you to everybody that's watched on whichever platform you're watching us on. And if you're checking us out on the re-rub, appreciate a like and a comment, because I always love interacting with the comments. And if you're new here and you don't mind, give us a sub as well. That'd be really good of you. And I'll catch you next week with this panel again, as we do Carl Urban's 2012 Dredd next coming Tuesday from 9 p.m.